Welcome to InfoHub Recap, where we look back at the past week's main issues. In our headlines, a former PPP minister and a former NISL head are on $6 million bail each after appearing to answer charges filed by SOCU. High-level government delegation working with Surinamese counterparts to address recent piracy attacks offshore that neighboring country's territorial waters. Guyana's first green town, Bartica, marks its second year. APNU and AFC charting a way forward for upcoming local government elections. Scholarships finally coming for nurses. A multi-million-dollar pump station at Friendship will result in myriad benefits for thousands in and around East Coast communities. And third annual Social Cohesion Day observed. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. We begin with the news that former Finance Minister Ashni Singh and former head of the National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited, Winston Brassington, were on Tuesday, May 8, granted bail of $6 million each on 3 counts of misconduct in public office when they appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. They were not required to enter a plea when they appeared before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan. The two failed to appear when the matter had been called Monday, May 7. The prosecution was given up to Tuesday to provide evidence of the service of summonses prior to a possible issuing of warrants for their arrest. The charges stem from criminal investigations conducted into findings of a forensic audit of NISL by SOCU. The matter has been adjourned to June 5. We now tell you that nurses will eventually be able to further their studies thanks to scholarships similar to those offered to other medical professionals, such as doctors. Here is this report.
Public Health Minister Valda Lawrence hinted at the proposed scholarship opportunities for nurses at the launch of the International Nurses Week observances recently.
We are working on the scholarship for nurses. We want to come out with a policy that will go in tandem with the bill so that you can specialize. We are operating in a very old system. We have to ensure that we work with the Ministry of Public Service to ensure that we don't only cater for doctors for studies, but we also cater for our nurses.
The minister noted that nurses carry a critical responsibility in providing health services. She described them as the executors of the government's health policies.
The general public now demands of you in your execution. They look upon you as nurses to take action, and they believe that the responsibility lies with you to enable them to access our health system.
As International Nurses Week is being observed throughout the world, there are special observances ongoing all week across the administrative regions. Nurses Week will come to an end on May 12, 2018. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Stacey Carmichael now joins us to tell us that the signing of a MOU between the CARICOM Development Fund and the Commonwealth Secretariat could boost cooperation.
The MOU between the CARICOM Development Fund and the Commonwealth Secretariat signals the commitment of the two sides to work together to build capacity in the area of climate change, mitigation and adaptation within CARICOM member states. It was signed between CDF Chief Executive Officer Rodinald Sumer and Commonwealth Secretary General Right Honourable Patricia Scotland.
We are working together on issues, but almost on parallel lines. We know that capacity has been an issue for all of us, that none of us have as much money, as much people, or as much information as we need to make a holistic response to the complexity and the depth of the problems that we are currently facing.
Sumer noted that the initiative will contribute to sustainable and inclusive development across the Caribbean region.
What it will allow us to do is treat more specifically and directly with disadvantaged regions and sectors, even in the currently classified MDCs of CARICOM, so that there's region-wide benefit from the work of the CDF.
The program between the two bodies will run for 5 years, and the collaboration seeks to strengthen the design and implementation of ongoing and new country programs. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
The Public Security Minister, Kemraj Ramjatan, after leading a high-level investigative team to Suriname to get to the bottom of the recent high-seas pirate attack in that country's waters, returned on Tuesday. Minister Ramjatan, while at Guyana's embassy in Suriname, met and sympathized with the families and friends of the 20 victims in Paramaribo. He was accompanied by Guyana's ambassador to Suriname, Keith George, and his staff. The minister also met with Surinamese government representatives on Monday. President David Granger on Thursday last described the recent attack as a grave one. The piracy attack took place off the Atlantic coast of Suriname on April 27. It left 16 fishermen missing and feared dead. There were at least 5 survivors, and more than 30 persons have since been arrested in connection with the incident. Electricity distribution in Region 8 will soon be expanded to include all communities. Renetta Lafleur spoke to the Madhya Power and Light Company's General Manager, Courtney Handy, about plans to make this a reality.
Currently, we have plans to extend our services to new areas. That would include, there should be a new housing scheme that is developing not too far away from the airstrip. And then we want to go over the creek. There are 2 creeks, that's Campbelltown area, up on Lower Campbelltown. And also, of course, there's plans which the government is negotiating right now with the developer for Chumachamari Hydro. We intend to go as far as the Brian Sukri Junction area as well.
Madhya Power and Light currently distributes electricity at 20 hours on weekdays and 24 hours on weekends. Handy cited the acquisition of fuel on a timely basis as a major challenge.
We mainly get our supply from Guy Oil, and it's all the way to Georgetown, and you know, it's a whole thing. You gotta come through Linden, then through up to Maburu, and then you come this area. But once we can get that on time, basically, you know, everything is fine.
MPL currently has a 400 and a 625 generator sets, which runs at 46 and 56 liters an hour respectively. It is mainly supported through government subvention and revenues accrued. From Madhya Power Plant, Renetta Lafleur reporting for InfoHub.
The main partners in the coalition government, a Partnership for National Unity and Alliance for Change, met this week to commence negotiations aimed at arriving at an agreement for contesting local government elections. APNU and AFC signed the Cummingsburg Accord in 2015, which was the basis for the 2 parties contesting the national and regional elections as a coalition. The Cummingsburg Accord, however, does not cover an agreement for local government elections, and they are working on arriving at an agreement to contest these elections, which is due this year. LGE were held in 2016 after an absence of almost 2 decades under the PPP regime. 2 years after attaining township status, Alexis Rodney tells us that Region 7's capital, Bartica, has much to celebrate. This year, the spotlight will be placed on the development of the people, according to Mayor Gifford Marshall.
The town, which was officially inaugurated on May 7, 2016, has seen major infrastructural and social developments. However, Mayor Marshall told InfoHub on Friday that it cannot neglect its human resource.
In a nutshell, we'll be focusing this month on our people and building their capacity, because that's what we intend to do from now till local government elections.
The mayor said that the town holds dear to its heart the situation of persons living with disabilities in the region. He said he is hoping that a building will soon be made available for them to utilize. In celebration of the town's 2-year anniversary, Marshall showed InfoHub a gift he received on behalf of the town from Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan. The present is a photocopied note sent to Minister Bulkan by President David Granger some 4 years ago, suggesting that Bartica become a town.
The gift reads, the little note reads, I would like to discuss with you the possibility of introducing a motion to make Maburuma Madhya Bartica and Letem a town.
At that time, President Granger was opposition leader and head of the APNU party, and Minister Bulkan, Shadow Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. Marshall described the note, dubbed the origin of Bartica's township status, as timely and something that the town will always cherish. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
The Guyana Defense Force was heavily criticized for excluding Lindo Creek's mining camp owner Leonard Arokium's evidence from an internal investigation conducted to determine whether GDF ranks were involved in the June 21, 2008 massacre. Alexis Rodney was at the last COI hearing and has this report.
Appearing before the Commission of Inquiry yesterday was Major Andy Pompey, who headed the unit which was appointed to carry out an inquiry among GDF members. In 2008, Pompey was a captain and head of the intelligence corps. He told the COI that the 5-member unit, which he headed, only interviewed the 24 members of the joint services who were deployed to the Upper Berbice area at the time. However, the COI's chairman, Justice Donald Trotman, thought it was rather strange that the investigative team did not interview a man who was making serious allegations.
So here was Mr. Orokia making these allegations. You were asked to investigate the circumstances, and you didn't think that at least if no one else, you should have interviewed Mr. Leonard Orokia, who was making these allegations.
Orokiam had told officials that information he received from eyewitnesses showed that it was the joint services that stormed his camp on June 21 and shot and burnt the bodies of his son Dax Orokiam, his brother Cedric, and 6 other miners in his employ. According to Major Pompey, he was simply following orders from senior army officials.
The persons interviewed by the team were the persons who the directive which I received were to be interviewed, and those persons were the only persons who came and were interviewed by the team, sir.
The Joint Services Unit was combing the Kokwani area and had days before been involved in a shootout with the Feynman gang. They reportedly shot and killed at least 2 of the gang members. The ongoing COI, being chaired by Justice Trotman, is seeking to determine the circumstances which led to the murder of the 8th miners at Lindo Creek some 10 years ago. For Info Hub, Alexis Rodney.
Madia's first ever concrete road completed. Renata LaFleur was there and spoke to some of the residents who will benefit from this development.
I'm standing on one of the newly constructed roads in Madia, Region 8. This road is a concrete structure built to last for decades. Prior to these upgrades, residents and road users had to contend with dust pollution and potholes, among other challenges.
Before now, the road was kind of laterite, right, red road, and it is very disgusting. The dust, especially in the dry weather time, the dust, causes a lot of chaos on our rooftop, especially at time, and when the rain come down now, So I'm very thankful for this road here.
The road work right now is very great. We like it because in the previous road we had, it was sheer dust. And every day we perish with this guy, wipe it down, clean, even to the shop, the house, everything, the dust is too much. But the road now, what we get here is very nice. It's going to last long.
The project, which commenced in 2015, was executed in 2 lots. Hinterland engineer Jeffrey Walcott said, amidst the challenges, this achievement serves as a motivation to continue development.
It's been a project that has been a long time in the making, and it is quite a relief to see the results. The residents are very happy and very satisfied, and I would say it's transformed the community, to be honest. Most persons, in my opinion, could not really see the long-term benefits, but a few months into the projects where we're almost out, wrapping up, everyone is really, I think, welcomed the change.
The ministry is also working to resuscitate the link between Madia and Bartica in Region 7. From Madia, Renetta LaFleur reporting for InfoHub.
It was disclosed on Wednesday that a record amount of paddy has been exported to Mexico thus far, following initial high-level meetings which were brokered with Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu in 2015. The revelation was made during a courtesy call to the Prime Minister from the Ambassador of Mexico, His Excellency Ivan Roberto Sierra, and his delegation. Gabriela Patron tells us more.
I was informed, and I'm very happy to report, that Mexico, since last year, has bought 174,000 tons of paddy from Guyana. I want to give back that figure. 174,000 tons of Guyana paddy have been exported to Mexico. And for us, and for all rice farmers in Guyana, this has been a significant breakthrough in finding markets for our rice. and for our paddy.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu also disclosed that Mexico will also start to import white rice from local producers. According to official statistics, from July to December 2017, more than 113,525 tons of Guyanese paddy were exported to the Latin American nation. From January to April 2018, more than 39,850 tons of paddy were exported to Mexico. As a result of the increase in trade levels, Mexico has become the largest individual destination for local paddy. This, Prime Minister Nagamutu pointed out, will bring greater benefits for local stakeholders.
Today I feel vindicated that it is possible that our farmers can have greater markets for their produce, particularly rice and paddy, and that the rice industry has a viable, profitable future in this country. And I want to personally thank the government and the business sector of Mexico and to pay compliment to Ambassador for his leadership in spearheading this effort to improve the trade relationship between our two countries.
Prime Minister Nagamutu in 2015, whilst attending the Open Governance Global Summit in Mexico, met with the country's Agriculture Minister, Jose Calzada. During this meeting, commitments were made to fast-track access to markets for Guyana's rice. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
Guyana's offshore wells are amongst the deepest and most complex, and according to Rystad Energy, they are potentially the largest in this part of the world. More in this Paul McAdam report.
According to Rystad Energy, quote, "It is interesting to note that some of the deepest wells are to be drilled in Guyana and Colombia, two countries with fairly limited experience in drilling deep water wells. It is projected that most of the wells are to be concentrated within the northern offshore regions of South America. These drill sites will be undertaken by operators such as Anadarko, Exxon, Shell, and BHP, all of whom have good track records in drilling deep water exploration wells," the analyst stated. Rystad pointed out that the offshore area north of the South American continent was dominated by gas discoveries until Exxon had success in finding oil in the Leeds field of Guyana's Stabroek Block. It also shows the relative size of the discoveries in Guyana and is by far the largest oil discovery made in this part of the world. End of quote. The Liza Phase 1 development, which will bring first oil for Guyana, is located approximately 190 kilometers offshore in water depths of 1,500 to 1,900 meters. 4 drill centers are envisioned with 17 wells in total, 8 production wells, 6 water injection wells, and 3 gas injection wells. Oil projection is projected to start by 2020. Rystad Energy is an online-based and information resource center providing data, tools, analytics, and consultancy services to energy industry clients. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
The General Nursing Council Board was installed Wednesday. Zanil Williams informs us that 2,669 nurses have already been registered to date.
The 15-member board was inaugurated this morning by the Public Health Ministers Valda Lawrence and Dr. Karen Cummings. It was revealed that 2,669 registrants renewed their licenses for 2018. Minister Lawrence urged members to not only enforce rules and regulations, but to be innovative.
I ask that you be satisfied that each candidate satisfies the criteria and is fit and proper to be registered. Don't register any and every person. You analyze and be very careful that those persons meet the criteria. We are building, and as we build, and with your input, we're going to reach there, but we're not there now. And as you use the rules and the regulations that guide this council, I'm asking you to use your judgment and to act within the confines of the rules. I'm asking you to be professional.
The council's chairperson and chief nursing officer acting, Linda Johnson, pledged her support and expressed excitement about her new role.
I'm fairly new, so I'm looking forward for your support so that we can have a vibrant nursing council that will represent the rights of the nurses and ensure that we have examinations and delivering of results in a timely manner and of course, authentic results.
The Nurses' Council is a semi-autonomous body. They do not fall under the purview of the Ministry of Public Health, but have 6 representatives appointed by government. The council comprises of 15 members, 6 nominated and 8 elected. The council also conducts 12 exams annually. 3 have already been completed. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
Celebrating lasting relationships in a diverse society was the theme of the 3rd Social Cohesion Day observance held at the National Cultural Center. InfoHub's Gabriela Patram was at the event where Prime Minister and First Vice President Moses Nagamutu delivered the feature address.
Social cohesion creates a sense of belonging and fights against exclusion and marginalization of any group of persons on the basis of their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, faith, occupation, age, etc.
Prime Minister Nagamutu noted that it is difficult to make laws for social cohesion. He described social cohesion as a process that develops from healthy social relations, from inclusive leadership, example, and norms of behavior that are tolerant of differences. The Prime Minister added that Guyanese live in an open and free country, enjoy democracy and the right to pursue freedom in all aspects of life. He pointed out that this must not be traded for division, despair, or destruction.
Where communities get together, they are better able to press demands and to achieve quality health and education services. The different groups think and act together and for the betterment of all. They have less time to accuse each other, fight each other, or waste energies on constantly promoting hate responses to each other.
Additionally, Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu asked those in attendance to show solidarity to the victims of the recent piracy attacks by observing a moment of silence. The Prime Minister noted that the recent piracy attacks shows that there has been a breakdown in social relations among sections of the fishermen. This, he pointed out, would have far-reaching effects on social cohesion in Suriname and in Guyana, as the pain, loss, and grief of survivors and the bereaved relatives would be multiplied. And this must be rectified. Prayers, dances, poetry, and songs were all part of the program to observe the 3rd Social Cohesion Day. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
India's Minister of State, Mr. Satyapal Singh, later the same day paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu at his official residence. Several areas of cooperation were discussed. The Prime Minister reiterated that Guyana will continue to have strong bilateral relations with India. The Prime Minister's delegation was joined by Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Low, Minister of Communities, Ronald Bulkan, Minister of Public Telecommunications, Catherine Hughes, and Minister within the Ministry of Finance, Jaipal Sharma. Accompanying India's State Minister, Mr. Satyapal Singh, was His Excellency Mr. V. Mahalingam, High Commissioner of India to Guyana, and other officials. President David Granger recommitted government support to the European Union on EU Day observed on May 9. Zanil Williams tells us more.
Annually, May 9th is observed as Europe Day, celebrating peace and unity across that continent. President David Granger reiterated that Guyana remains committed to strengthening bilateral relations between the two.
Guyana, in this regard, expresses its appreciation to the European Union for its support for its climate change adaptation, disaster risk reduction, and improved coastal zone management under the 11th European Development Fund. Guyana remains committed to future cooperation with the European Union.
This year's focus is on European Year for Cultural Heritage. EU Ambassador to Guyana, Yerine Verdij, noted that Guyana too has a deep, rich cultural heritage.
During the year, we are showcasing our diverse cultural heritage across Europe at EU, national, regional, and local level. The aim of the European Year of Cultural Heritage is to encourage more people to discover and engage with Europe's cultural heritage and to reinforce a sense of belonging to a common European space. Guyana is as rich as Europe in its cultural diversity, and aspects of European culture are also alive here in the many buildings and historical sites.
The date marks the anniversary of the Schuman's Declaration. At a speech in Paris in 1950, Robert Schuman, the then French foreign minister, set out his idea for a new political cooperation in Europe, which would make wars between Europe's nations unthinkable. It was established in 1964 to celebrate Schumann's declaration. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
We end with this week's Cabinet Roundup. Here is Paul McAdam.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon at today's post-cabinet press conference highlighted that President David Granger distributed copies of his recent addresses at various events which dealt with particular issues.
In this regard, His Excellency the President informed Cabinet that he had made an address on migration, miscegenation, and integration on the occasion of Portuguese Arrival Day on the 3rd of May 2018 at the Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church, a distinctly Portuguese institution that was established in 1861. This address highlighted the history of Portuguese migration to Guyana, their integration into Guyanese society, and their contribution to national development.
The head of state also informed of his address highlights during the Indian Arrival Day celebrations at Highbury on the east bank of Berbice and at the CFATF workshop for judges and prosecutors held at the Pegasus Hotel.
In this address, it was noted that the Caribbean fragmented jurisdiction had rendered it vulnerable to transnational crime and criminal cartels that possessed the means to corrupt public officials and undermine the institutions that sustain the rule of law. His Excellency's address also alluded to the importance of the workshop to the establishment of mechanisms and strengthening measures to combat transnational financial crime and the collective enforcement of financial laws.
Cabinet was also briefed by Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan following his visit with a team of security officials to Suriname. This comes on the heels of the recent pirate attacks in that country's waters.
The Minister informed Cabinet that the government of Suriname had agreed to assist the families of the deceased by resuming the search for missing fishermen. And you recall that that search had actually come to a stop. They agreed to resume the search and by providing moral, psychological, and financial support. He also outlined for Cabinet the measures which the government of Suriname intended to implement to regulate the fishing sector and to monitor fishing vessels.
Minister Harmon announced the Cabinet's approval of the Kingdom of the Netherlands' appointment of Jacob Theodore Fredericks as non-resident ambassador.
Ambassador Fredericks, who will be resident in Paramaribo, Suriname, will succeed His Excellency Mr. Angerard van Leeuwen. Guyana and the Kingdom of Netherlands established diplomatic relations in May of 1970 and have collaborated mainly at the multilateral level. However, in recent times, there's been a heightening of relations with the Netherlands providing technical assistance and expertise on flood risk management and local challenges posed by Guyana's coastline being below sea level.
Cabinet further approved the Social Protection Minister Amna Ali's recommendation of the appointment of 32 boards of guardians across the 10 administrative regions. They are serving for 1 year.
The boards of guardians are responsible for reviewing requests for public assistance, and these reviews are guided by the Poor Release Act, which considers the socio-economic circumstances of individuals requesting assistance and also provides safety net programs that promote self-sufficiency to persons receiving public assistance.
The annual reports of the National Communications Network for 2015 to 2016, the National Bureau of Standards for 2011, and the Guyana Securities Council for 2017 were also presented to Cabinet. Cabinet also gave its approval for officials to attend several high-level international meetings. These include the Caribbean Council of Tourism Ministers and Commissioners of the Caribbean Tourism Organization in New York And Guyana will also be represented at the 6th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas in Colombia and the Outlook Forum on the hurricane season in Barbados. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.